portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
In response to the high level of overweight and obese people in the country, government and health partners have formulated a food and nutrition security policy action plan. Carla Palmer tells us tonight that stakeholders are participating in a two-day workshop.
Recent surveys by local health officials reveal that almost 50% of Bahamian children are overweight and another 20% are obese, while 67% or two-thirds of the adult population is obese. Health specialist Dr. Philip Swan of the Ministry of Health is leading the charge to reverse this trend, with the end result being a food and nutrition security policy and action plan.
What we would like to do as part of the Ministry of Health's main communication strategy at this point in time is to talk about the foods that are high in sodium, high in salt, like your potato chips, your processed foods like your hot dogs. And we want to move away from, even the ramen noodles, we want to move away from foods like that, foods that are high in sugar, like your sodas, the junk juices, things that disguise themselves as juices, and also foods that are high in fat, fried food.
Cognizant of the challenge in the availability of so much unhealthy foods, Dr. Swan and his team are looking to impact food import if necessary.
Finding healthy food in the Bahamas has been a challenge in terms of the cost. So what we are trying to put in place are policies and strategies to make it more widely available. We've engaged the private sector as well as the public sector in terms of government, in terms of revenue streams, the Wholesalers Association, we try to bring them on board as well to figure out how we can get more healthy foods in.
The Food and Agricultural Organization and the Pan American Health Organization are key partners in the initiative. PAHO's representative here in the Bahamas, Dr. Jerry Eichermans, says the problem is too serious to ignore.
We all know that no health system and no society is sustainable if already our young people are obese, because we know what's going to happen. When they are 40, they will have cardiovascular diseases, heart attacks, cancer, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases, etc. Actually, those diseases account for about 80% of all the deaths in the Caribbean at the moment.
Already, there's a proposed solution being offered to the problem. Dr. Eichermans suggests increasing the taxes on unhealthy foods.
If this sparkling bottle of sugar costs $5 and the water costs $1, then we're talking about a choice. Should not be left to the individual choice, particularly not for children. I always say, there is no baby that is born with a craving for comforter, This is something that we learn. This is acquired behavior that can be changed, that can be influenced with the right policies.
Once the conference ends this Friday, Dr. Swan says the draft of the Food and Nutrition Plan will be presented to Cabinet ahead of its October 16th deadline, where he's hopeful of its eventual legislation and enactment. I'm Carla Palmer for ZNS Network News.
And in more health news tonight, Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Delon Brennan says tobacco is the only legal product that kills a large portion of its consumers when it's used as intended by the manufacturer. Dr. Brennan was the guest speaker at a Zonta Club meeting at Luciano's of Chicago, where he warned members of the dangers of smoking and the impact that secondhand smoke can have on women. Now, Dr. Brennan says, according to the World Health Organization, tobacco is responsible for nearly 6 million deaths every year, essentially one death every 6 seconds. He says smoking also impacts fertility.
When we look at the harms of tobacco use and secondhand smoke during pregnancy specifically, we do know that when we look at fertility rates, which is referred to in medical-ish kind of terms as fecundity. You have female and male fertility that are both affected. So in order to become pregnant, you need to be fertile. So the issue is that both men and women, their fertility is affected by the effects of smoking.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. Director of Financial Services Dr. Nicola Virgil Roll says the Ministry of Financial Services proposed Center of Excellence will bring together the best in the industry to establish a hub of training, advocacy, and research. She is expected to assist in the creation of the center as part of her work on the government's National Development Plan. The NDP sets national development goals expected to be achieved by 2040, and according to Dr. Virgil Roll, the Center of Excellence will play a crucial role in strengthening the Bahamian economy so it can meet those targets. She says the Bahamas needs to build on its existing talent and leverage that into becoming a leader in regional training. In other business news, Butterfield Group has announced that Butterfield Trust, comprising 6 independently incorporated trust companies located in key financial centers, has been named Trust Company of the Year at the 10th Annual STEP Awards. The Society of Trust and Estate Practitioners is the worldwide professional association for those advising families across generations. STEP Private Client Awards are highly respected in the industry, and winners are considered to be the best in the industry in their areas of specialization. And in international news, Volkswagen CEO Martin Winterkorn resigned Wednesday after admitting that the world's top-selling car maker had rigged diesel emissions to pass U.S. tests during his tenure. No replacement was announced, and Volkswagen still has no easy exit from scandal that has suddenly dented a reputation for trustworthiness that took decades to build. The smog test trickery has wiped out billions in Volkswagen's market value and raised the specter of criminal investigations and billions more in fines. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly.
Nearly 100 men and women have completed the popular shock treatment program. It's an extreme preventative measure aimed at helping troubled youth by exposing them to the harsh reality of crime. Now, the latest group not only graduated, but were treated to lunch with the Minister of National Security at the Hilton Hotel today. And LaDon Davis tells us that they were even graced with the presence of a bevy of beauties from the Miss Bahamas organization.
Overnight hike where we slept on the beach last night, and we woke up about 4 a.m. this morning.
17-year-old Anwar Watkins was among 12 other troubled young men who underwent an intense boot camp training exercise, which included an overnight stay in bushes in a remote area in New Providence. Watkins and another participant we talked to say while it was a real shock, it taught them a very valuable lesson.
What they tell us in the program is that even though there's 12 of us, we all act as one, And even though we had one man behind this morning, we had to carry him on a stretcher, and we did not give in. We pushed all the way back to the base from our campsite. It was a rewarding experience.
Were you scared at all?
I mean, not really scared, but it was just a long walk.
And that challenge has reaped some great rewards. The program's co-executive producer, Carlos Reed, says it has positively transformed the lives of most of the young men and women who have participated.
We realized from the beginning that we were not going to reach everybody, but we also determined that we was not going to lose everybody at the same time. We've seen some athletes emerge where a person's got scholarship to go to school. We've seen some of our athletes, persons get good jobs, graduate, some of them that would be low GPA. So we really encouraged by what's been happening with shock treatment.
On Thursday, all 12 Season 6 participants were treated to lunch with the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage. With the murder count over the 100 mark, Nottage says his program will no doubt serve as a deterrent to crime.
I think that we are reaching them, but, we want something to be lasting. And so the shock treatment part of that encounter usually seems to have a profound effect on them. But there's some long-term follow-ups that we are doing or have to do in order, hopefully, to be able to consolidate whatever positive changes they have. A lot depends on their life at home, on their family structure.
But the treats didn't end there, though. Miss Universe Bahamas, Miss Earth, and Miss World stopped by to give a pep talk to the young men.
They grow up and they have all these rough things about them, but then when you approach them and you ask them, how would you approach me if you wanted to go on a date with me or have a conversation with me, and their instant response is shy and quiet, and they don't know what it is that a real woman would want to experience with them.
They go through like defense force and police force training, running and walking and marching 10 miles a day, and just getting used to the life that they do not want to have, which will then deter them from, slipping up and doing the bad things.
I grew up in a neighborhood that housed a lot of lost souls, and so what I see the shock treatment doing is basically building and sharpening our young men, our young women to actually want to have a future for themselves.
LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
And a job well done to all of those who participate on the shock treatment program, especially the hardworking staff right here at ZNS. They make sure you watch it every week right here on the ZNS television network. We've all been told that rewards come with perseverance. Not all of them are tangible, but in this case, they are. In tonight's BTC Island Connection, meet the students who made all the right calls in their pursuit of excellence and hear how BTC is encouraging others to make the grade. Here's Keishla Adderley.
They're more than model students. They're friends with purpose, as expressed in this matter-of-fact explanation for 6 straight years of attaining the highest GPA at the North Andros High School.
It's hard work and dedication. I actually study mostly every day.
The legacy that now North Andros graduate Chavez Evans has left behind has not gone unnoticed, though.
I was awarded a Samson Galaxy Top 3 from the BTC Corporation in recognition of academics performance here in North Andros High School.
And school principal Edward Roll is optimistic that an attractive BTC connection will encourage others to follow Evans' path.
That's something that they enjoy using all the time, and it helps them in their schoolwork, I think, too, especially away from school, internet-wise.
BTC also gave these high-flying members of the debate team some tangible encouragement. They weren't keen on joining, but now the benefits aren't debatable.
Well, actually, I wasn't interested. I was being dragged into it. But when I got all of the helps from around our school, then I got really interested in it. What my teachers actually pushed me into doing it, because I really into speaking in front of people like that. Are you glad you did it? Yes, ma'am.
It's a match made in heaven for Island Administrator Ivan Ferguson, bright students, and telecommunications service that keeps the island on top.
We will find out that education will be driven primarily in the future by technology. So BTC is ahead of its time in terms of providing the linkages and the corporate generosity to the schools.
Though Evans has walked these halls for the last time as a student, the trail he's blazed and his advice call all students to excellence every day. Keishla Adderley for the BTC Island Connection.